Hi, everyone. Mitch from sportschatplaceandpickdogs.com. I got Steve Monahan, Rod, and Chris, the Puck Dogs, with us. Um, all in collective prayer for sports to start up again. Still digging around, digging deep for content. Steve's going to be
Yeah.
joining us on our weekday shows for the foreseeable future until the world decides what it's going to do. He's got some
Yep.
free time on his hands, so what better place to spend it than with us? Also, figured that it would help him recuperate a little bit, as he's really disturbed about that canceling of the Tour de France.
Uh,
It's
I
like,
tell you.
like
Of all the things, the canceling of the Tour de
we'll be shorting all of the drug stocks on cancellation. It was like canceling all. We'll be shorting all the French drug stocks. Anything muscle enhancers, anyone that's got any kind of steroid or doping or anti-doping machinery as well. Good time to go into the stock market and short those, as there's normally a run on it during the Tour de France. Anyways, Chris, year of training down the tubes for you there on the Tour de France. How you taking it?
The amount of profanity-laced texts I sent last night to people in my inner circle, I was just like, "This is but." I spent how many hours a day on the bike training for this, and it's all gone up in smoke.
I think if there's two events that have been canceled this year that I could care less about, one is the Tour de France, and the other one is the Olympics. Care less about either of those things. If they could hold them across the street, I wouldn't be there. I think the Olympics at least has tried to add events, but once they added professional athletes, kind of killed the whole thing. And of course, I don't know. Without Jim McKay, they were never the same. Anyways, it's we're here on Tuesday. It's Rob Manfred up again with some comments about baseball. Certainly not giving up yet, but not sounding as confident as he did a little while ago. But we're here. One of the topics that Rod has brought up a bunch of times for us to do was to go over the Unbreakable record. So we're going to do. There's so many shows we could do on this. There's so many records that I think are unbreakable out there. But today we're just going to do kind of an overview of unbreakable records. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of go sport by sport. So we'll have some repeating, and these guys will say, like I said on the last show, even though we have a different audience for every show, that's why I never say anything like that. But we'll beat it out of them, and so we'll have a show for each sport as well. But I think when we see the records being set, whether it's an individual game record or whether it's a streak type record or just overall wins record or losses record, I think generally there's a feeling that something is going on. I know nowadays, the public loves to get involved with with ESPN and all that other stuff and so many different media outlets. It's kind of like they're always looking for a story. So these streaks they don't mesh in like they used to. They don't kind of just blend into the regular thing. The streak starts going, or the record gets close. All of a sudden, there's they cut to the game, or something that's happening. So, Steve, when you think of the unbreakable records, I know there's some monsters out there. What do you think is what do you think's one of them, at least in your book?
I think maybe we just wait and get to the top one. But I've been doing a little research. I'll throw one out from hockey that the Puck Dogs I think might enjoy. About a little David Tiger Williams penalty minutes all time, right? 4,421 minutes. especially in today's NHL. Without the goon squad anymore. Really that type of thing. And I got to think that's a funny one to me. So, and I remember that, I'm 55 years old, so believe me, I remember Tiger Williams like it was yesterday. So I'll throw that one out for fun.
I like that one because there's no way I don't see we're not going to get that many penalty minutes out of one guy anymore.
That's
there's
right.
No way.
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
No chance.
Well, because how he gets so many is because you get 5 for fighting, 2 minutes for instigating the fight, a 10-minute misconduct, and then you get a game misconduct. So you get how many minutes? Just
and he would do that 3 days a week.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Rod? What's one that you look at for the unbreakable records?
I'll stick with hockey, and the unbreakable record is Gretzky's single season points record. He scored 215 points in one season, and that'll never be touched. Not in this modern day NHL. No one is ever going to come close to scoring 215 points. That's crazy. Like he averaged 1.92 points per game in his career. Gretzky did. It's just unbreakable. To put it into perspective, if you look Gretzky's career assists, he's got 1,963 career assists, which equals more total points than any other player has accumulated in the history of the game. That is just in assists.
Yeah. Love that one.
Yeah. I think, though, with the advent of fantasy sports, you always see offensive things kind of open up, so I would never say never. But Chris,
which also leads to one more thing. The crazy trivia question in hockey that everybody gets asked, what's the brother duo with the most points in the NHL?
Oh, brother duo?
So it's not the Stastnys.
That's not a bad one. I'll go.
Gretzky's. Does he have a brother?
Huh. I'll go with the Richards. Rocket and Henry. Be my guess.
I guess Lemieux.
Muse.
The actual answer is Gretzky.
Yeah.
Gretzky has a brother named Brett. Brett scored 3 points in the NHL.
Yeah.
So he had his 3 points to Gretzky's points, and they're the highest duo in the NHL, the Gretzky brothers.
Yep.
Chris, what's one of yours? And we'll go around a few times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to baseball, and for me, it's Cal Ripken Jr.'s Iron Man streak. I think you see so many guys nowadays that get a day off just for scheduled rest or to protect protect their health. Basketball uses the term load management, but this is common in MLB. You see guys take a day off just because they played 5 days in a row or something. Cal Ripken played every game for 16 seasons. To me, that's just like crazy. I couldn't even imagine it in today's game. Not even getting close to it.
That's a great one.
It's a good one.
2,632, right? And Lou Gehrig was 2,130, and everybody thought that was never going to be approached, right? But to your point, no one's touching Cal now at 26 over 2,600 consecutive. No way.
I like Joe Paterno's 409 wins. I think that, it's 41 years of 10 wins, and I just think longevity just gets in the way. I just think, I thought that Don Shula's record in the NFL was untouchable, but it's clearly going to go. Belichick has got it in sight, and I think he's going to get it. But I think Paterno's record is pretty tough because you used to see college coaches be more lifers than you are now, but you don't see the lifers anymore. And, when we look at, so we look at, who we consider the best coaches right now, so we look at Nick Saban, who we automatically associate with wins. And listen, he's not even close. He's not even. He's barely halfway home. 243 wins. I don't see him coaching another 16 to 17 years, which is what it would take him to get this one home. Not a guy that lives on oatmeal pies. Probably not going to have the longevity to get there. We've seen guys that have had better runs than Paterno, more national championships, all those things. But, man, there's something to be said about showing up. And you got to remember, he was interrupted mid-season. He had wins taken away. I never believe in the wins taken away thing. It's like if you won, you won, It's kind of like how many baseball protests get upheld, This game's being played under protest. Like, never. It's like, why bother, It's like, it's kind of like noted, right?
True.
It's there, but I think 409 wins. I'm not I don't like the way things ended at Penn State, and I don't like what went on there in general. But 409 wins going to be a pretty tough nut to crack. Steve,
I'll go back to baseball here. Cy Young, 511 career victories, 749 complete games. Not even will even be approached, not even in the slightest. So, we'll be lucky to really even see another 300 game winner, really. I think it's trending that way too, I think CC Sabathia, I retired a year ago, and, I'm going off the top of my head, but I'm going to say he had 260 something, maybe, something like that. But, so, 511 for Cy Young, that's insane.
CC Sabathia 251 and 161. So he was 49 games away, but that's 3-4 seasons of big numbers, It's just you don't see those guys that have that type of stuff that can go for a while. I think if we look at the guys who are out there now who you would think would have a prayer, Matt Scherzer would be one of them. And he has 170 career wins. So he's barely halfway home.
What's Verlander got? Maybe one, I think, Mike.
I think he's up in the 200 somewhere.
225. So he could hang on, but it's going to be close. He's going to need this season, that's for sure. I think.
Oh, sure.
He's going to need it. But he is he's 37, so he'd have to pitch into his mid 40s to get there.
He's not going to do it. There's no way.
No way.
There's no way. He goes home to Kate Upton every night. For Christ's sakes, come on.
That should up his win total to 240.
How about you, Rod? What's another one for you?
We'll stick with the baseball as we were just talking about this one. The guy who's second in most wins in baseball. Walter Johnson throws 110 career shutouts. I don't think anyone I don't see another pitcher who's going to pitch 110 shutout games in their career. Not the way that hitters are hitting the ball these days.
None of them. I don't think you'll see another pitcher with 110 complete games. To be the shutouts. It's like it's a different game, and back then pitchers went on 4-man rotations or less. Dizzy Dean pitched every other day.
Yeah.
And Stratomatic, for me, he pitched every day.
Oh, yeah. I loved Stratomatic growing up, man. Me and my brothers have played that, God, so many nights.
Chris, you're up.
We'll stick with baseball, and I'll stick in Canada. I like Eric Gagne's 84 straight saves. There was no one that could hit that guy when he was on, and it was fun to watch because it was one of the first real memories I have from having an unbreakable record from watching baseball as a kid growing up, and it was just like I said, you just watch the guy come in, you're like, okay, well the other team's down, yeah, okay, it's over. You saw Gagne walk into the mound, you're like, yeah, okay, never mind, I'm done.
4 20-game winners on one pitching staff. It's been done twice, but I don't think it will ever get done again. The only chance of 4 20-game winners on one staff is if they go to the bullpen games across the board, and they kind of somehow 4 guys all end up in that spot, and the team wins 80 plus. It's like it would take an ungodly set of circumstances to get it done, But 4 20-game winners. The Orioles did it in 71. The White Sox did it in 1920. It will never be done again. At least not in today's modern baseball. I hate the 5-man rotation. I mean, I hate it. But Mike Cuellar, Pat Dobson, Jim Palmer, Dave McNally. Doesn't get a lot better than that.
That's right.
Steve, you're up.
Again, baseball is probably got the most of any sport, I would say. I'll throw tip my hat to one Nolan Ryan and his 7 career no-hitters. No way anybody approaches that. That's just, that's longevity, and also he's got over 5,000 strikeouts. From top of my head, I don't think anybody's going to approach Nolan Ryan's, numbers. I'll throw that one out there.
Rod?
Here's one. We'll go to horse racing. Secretariat's 31 length win at the Belmont in 1973. I don't think we're going to ever. Horses are too closer to that. I've never even 31 length win. He went off at 1 to 10 too, so you definitely weren't making a lot of money off of that horse if you were betting him. 31 length win.
Chris? I remember that race. That's how old I am. Chris?
I wasn't even a thought at that point. I think for me, it's the Boston Celtics and their 8 straight championships. I mean, the argument could be made that if maybe Michael Jordan didn't play baseball for 2 years, you could have seen the Bulls reach that. But the fact is that he left, and since the Celtics had their last championship of those 8, no teams won more than 3 straight. And I think nowadays with these quote unquote super teams that are always being built every couple of years, and the parity that's starting to come out in the NBA, I don't think you're going to see a team reach more than 3 or 4 for a very long time, 3 or 4 straight.
Wow, we saw the Patriots have a crack at that. The Patriots certainly have been the closest to that, even though they didn't have any 3-peats and no back-to-backs, right? But certainly we're in it. You got to be in it you got to get there to at least have a chance. So I love college football. Oklahoma 47-game winning streak. I'm a Miami fan through and through, and we've had 2 cracks at this thing. No one else has even had a whiff of this one, in a long time. When you look at the list of the longest college football winning streaks, most of them are like from the 1920s or before. It's like, right. When you look at them, Toledo, 1969, 35 wins. Yale in 1887 and 89 with 37 wins. Washington in 1908 to 1914 with 40 wins. And then Oklahoma, 1953 to 57, 47 wins. I will asterisk this one and say it's pre-black players, which is a big deal. It's a huge deal because it integrates the game. It also makes it a lot deeper talent pool. It's like saying, I don't know. It's like, but that is before that era. It's also before scholarship limitations. So, you used to be able to have as many guys on the roster as you want, like those great Notre Dame teams, the Newt Rockne teams. They had like 150 players on their team. Everybody else had 12. So, to be said, but like I said, I'm a Miami fan, and we've had 2 cracks at this one, and both times it was like this was the one that we always wanted. All the records that the Miami teams broke, and I'm going to go into more of them as we go on. This was the one we always wanted, and this was the one that always got away from us. And both times when the streaks ended, they were weird endings to games that, the Canes could have easily won. They in the Ohio State game ended one of them, where the game was over. They called pass interference. They had on the scoreboard, congratulations, national team. The coach was shaking hands at midfield, and they called the players off the field because a guy threw a penalty flag 15 minutes after the game was over for a penalty that never happened, which made it even worse. Then the other one, I believe, the other streak ended. The other win streak ended. I believe was the Teddy Bruschi Rusty Medeiros game in the torrential downpour in the Orange Bowl. I believe it was that one that ended that one. I'm not sure. Actually, I think Miami won that game. So I don't remember when the first streak ended, the 31 game winning streak, but it was a monster as well. I mean, when you start putting together streaks that are over a series of years. Oh, no. That game ended, the 31 ended with the Alabama game. What was his name? The guy played for the Cowboys, the defensive back, where he stripped the ball from Lamar Thomas. It was like just George Teague, right? Like everything.
George Teague.
Yeah, like everything happened, wrong for Miami. It was one of those games where Miami went in and it was like, I mean, while Miami doesn't play Alabama often, these are two teams that do not like each other. It's like Miami has rubbed it in Alabama's face when they've had their chance, and Alabama has rubbed it in Miami's face. It's like they never well, for the sake of sportsmanship, we're not going to score another 6 touchdowns on you. It's like Miami ran it up on Alabama, and in the sugar, and Alabama never really has forgotten that. But and they beat us in that one. But that was the end of that streak. That was Dennis Erickson. And I'll tell you, Miami was a huge favorite in that game. And it was, so. But to me, that 47 games, Bud Wilkinson's Oklahoma teams, that's going to be a tough one. And you see these teams, and it's like you see them go undefeated and whatever. But it's like I say every year, at the midway through the season, everyone's like, oh, there's going to be like 8 undefeated teams. It's rare that there's one. It's rare that there's 2. It's next to never where there's 2. And now with the playoff, the 2 are going to face off. So LSU right now probably has the nation's longest winning streak, but my guess is they're probably in trouble. With that schedule they have next year. Steve?
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. I'll switch gears here. Let's go with a little golf. I'll say there's 2 actually I'm going to give. Tiger Woods winning the 1997 Masters, a major tournament by 12 strokes. I think that's pretty safe. But Byron Nelson actually won 11 consecutive golf tournaments.
Tiger Woods made a run at that one too, and he didn't get there. But that's another one where it's like, no chance.
No.
There's no chance. The players are too good. The players are too good, and the equipment is also too good.
It's too tight. The players are too close. You get a couple shots here and there.
It's just it comes down to a couple putts, and these days is really what it comes down to. The greens were different back then. The grass was different. It's like I'll tell you, even the guys that I play with here, it's like we play on different courses. It's like different people play well on different courses. It's just the courses are so different. It's like I think
courses are longer now too, aren't they?
Within 5 miles of my house, you could play on 4 different types of grass. It's like it's. I'll tell you, like you see that Riviera tournament, they talk about the Kikuyu grass. It's like you never really, you don't really see that too often, but we have it here in Pukalani, and I'll tell you what, it's gruesome. It's like you don't want to be not on the fairway, man. It is like just grips the ball. It's like if someone has the ball in their hands, it's like you hit a 5-iron, it goes about 115 yards. It's like not easy. Yeah, I would say Byron Nelson's record is pretty safe. Rod?
Here's one I think that this hockey break is gonna put an and ranting of Ovechkin figuring he's going to catch Gretzky's goals, the most goals by an NHL player, 894. I don't see Ovechkin catching this. Everybody is all talking that Ovechkin's going to play till he's 50 and he's going to break this record. Even Gretzky says, "I'll be happy if he breaks it, and I'll shake his hand and be like, yay." But I just don't see it. No way.
I think he's got a shot, and I hate to say it because Gretzky to me is, one of my all-time idols. I think he's got a shot, and I do, and I hate to say it, but right? I think he does.
Some comments here about Barry Sanders, 14 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, definitely up there.
Yeah, I had that on the list.
They just don't run the ball as much, these days. But I think that that's something. It all goes. It's offenses and defense are cyclical in the NFL, and you see these things. They come and go. And I could see it. I could see a day where rushing the football comes back. I just don't know if we'll see longevity. So how about you, Chris?
When Rod mentioned a guy playing until he's 50, I found one of the more obscure hockey records. Gordie Howe being the only player to play in 6 different decades.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's kind of like the guys who die on the sideline. The coaches that die on the sideline. Gordie Howe playing into your 60s. And he also played without a helmet all the way.
Yeah.
Too. And the guys were playing with helmets against him.
Yeah. 69, he signs up and plays for the Detroit Vipers in the IHL. I remember that. My dad had a Gordie Howe IHL Detroit Vipers card, and I'm like, where did you even find this? Did you print this? And it's like, jeez, man.
So I'll go to one that I witnessed a good portion of, and one that I attended a lot of the games that were part of the streak. Miami Hurricanes 59-game home winning streak, 11 years of home wins. They lost the Flutie game, they drew the line in the sand. That Flutie game that Miami had the worst defense they ever had. They gave up in all of their games, like those last 5 games of the season, they gave up 40-plus points in all of those games. So it wasn't like, giving up this pass was some kind of amazing thing that's made out to be. But the more amazing thing is that Miami went on to win their next 59 home games. Now, they broke the previous record was 58, but that's an asterisk record as well. And once again, Miami, Alabama, head-to-head, and, just like they will be in the recruiting races going forward and all that kind of stuff, just like it always is. But so Alabama, when they used to play their toughest games every year, which used to be Penn State, they used to play Penn State every single year, and then they would play other tough games. Whenever it was a tough game, they would play it at Legion Field in Birmingham. And those games did not count against the streak if they lost. So only the games in Tuscaloosa counted. So they had the 58-game home winning streak. But Miami won 59 in a row, losing the next game to Washington. And that was the famous game where Warren Sapp, Miami was one of the first teams to defer kickoffs. It used to always receive. Everybody always received the kickoff. You won the toss, you will receive. It was always that way. Jerry Mark Bright basically had a tape recorder, he used to say it. Right? And it was like, they used to always do it, but Warren Sapp said, we'll kick, instead of saying, we'll defer our decision. And Miami had to kick off both halves of that game. And I was at the game. It was about 600 degrees. And, it was one of those days. Other games I had been to in the streak, I'd been to some other games within that streak that were actually, fairly close games. There was there weren't all blowouts in the streak. There was a lot of close ones where Miami had caught breaks. Things just went their way. Things happened in the Orange Bowl. But I think the cool thing about the streak was that it wasn't widely followed throughout the sports world, but in Miami it was a big deal. We had the cemetery in the West End Zone where where they started bringing in cemetery plots every week for the thing and line them all up. And it'd be, the Orange Bowl became a place that nobody wanted to go. And there were some gigantic wins in the streak, and there was, a few national championships in there, 3 national championships within the streak. Just a lot happened in there, and also a lot of guys that, we saw a lot of things also within the streak that, were pretty amazing feats when you look back at them. Holding Emmitt Smith to 8 yards rushing, Marshall Faulk -3 yards rushing. Were all part of the streak. So, the streak was defense. The streak was all defense. Ray Lewis was a big part of the streak. And, once Ray was gone and it became Warren Sapp's team, that's when the streak ended. We're not going to blame Warren Sapp for blowing the streak or anything, but let's just say he was the guy who said, well, kick. Anyways, Steve.
I'll go back to baseball. I'll go Ricky Henderson, 1,406 stolen bases. No, won't even be approached, especially in today's
No one's
baseball.
been close.
No.
It's not even in today's baseball. It's that just no one's even close. There's just Ricky Henderson is a freak.
Yeah.
I believe he also lead off home runs, right?
Yeah, too.
Lead off home runs record. That's going to be.
He also has the most stolen bases in a season, 130.
Yeah.
And most career runs scored, 2,295.
Yeah, and Steve and I both saw Lou Brock, who was also, ridiculous.
Yeah.
There have been few elite base dealers like that, where everybody, they knew he was going. It's like this, he's going every single time.
The Oakland A's, right? In the when they won the back-to-backs in the 70s, and they actually had a special runner. Herb Washington was their de facto, steal a base guy, So, but today's baseball world, forget about it. That will never ever be approached.
Catchers are a lot better now too.
True.
Rod?
I think Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. That's almost. I think that's untouchable. 100 points in a game by a basketball player in this era. Yeah, good luck. There have been some people that have been close. To put it in perspective, Curry would have to hit 34 three-pointers in the game to even come close.
Yeah, a lot of those were free throws. A lot of points for free throws in that game. And the thing is that most big men don't hit free throws like that.
It's true. And he got the 100 in Hershey Park, So my kids are younger. Took the kids to Hershey Park, the amusement park, but the arena was, I guess it was like a field house type of thing, but it's still standing, and that's where he got the 100 points in that building.
Chris?
Yeah, another one that kind of stands out is Bobby Orr's plus 124 rating in 1970-71. Like, you look now, we mentioned Wayne Gretzky earlier, his only triple-digit plus-minus season was plus 100. He's regarded as the greatest to ever step on the ice. These days, elite level, plus 40, maybe plus 50 if you're having a really good year. But, 37 goals, 102 assists, plus 124, that's not getting touched anytime soon.
So what do you guys think are like the rental records? Like the one where, it's going to just be broken over and over and over again. Like touchdown passes in a season, touchdown passes in a career. I think these are records, as the rule changes. These were records that stood for a long time at one point, and now they just seem to, go.
It's
just, it just seems that, not all records are created equal. It's how some of these records are unbreakable, like because of just the way the game has changed. I think some of these records are more breakable because of the way that it's changed. Like when Dan Marino broke Dan Fouts' record for most touchdown passes in the season when he threw for 48 touchdowns. Fouts' record was 36. He beat it by 12. Now it's like, they're in the 60s. And that's just how much of a difference that the game has changed, over the years. I think Eric Dickerson, over 2,000 with 20-something hundred, this season. It's going to be a tough one, because it's more than 100 and 125 yards a game. I think the 1,000-yard rushing seasons is the same thing. Now that we're going to a 17-game season, an 18-game season is probably right around the corner. 1,000 yards isn't what it was when Jim Brown rushed for 1,000, in an 11-game season. Now you're talking almost twice as many games. You're putting them in the same category. So I think that these are. I think we got a good list together. We got a good start, and I think what we'll do is we'll revisit these sport by sport and kind of take a deeper dig into it. There's a lot of ones out there. I think we hit on a lot of the really good ones, and sometimes you don't know it. That's why you go to a baseball game, you never know what the hell's going to happen. It's like why we love sports. I think some of these others, I think it will be interesting to see, like the Ovechkin, Gretzky, just how much, if they do it, what it will do for the game. It's kind of like the McGuire and when McGuire and Sammy Sosa went after Maris's record, right? It was kind of like, now it's like they're both roided, right? It's like, so now and same with Barry. Yeah, when Barry, I remember when Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record, Babe Ruth's family was mad. They were pissed, They were pissed about it.
Same record as Lance Armstrong. As you talked at the top of the show, the Tour de France getting canceled. Lance Armstrong what did he win, 7 consecutive Tour de France's? That was a record, but they all got null and voided when he got stripped of his titles.
I know, because Chris had those. Had them. Had it.
I was right behind him. I was driving the car, but that still counts.
But thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about a sports betting topic. But look for a new and improved show out of us in the very, very near future. I've got a bunch of stuff on the way. I'm using this time to do a lot of stuff with the websites. Got a lot of stuff going on with the premium area, as well as, like I said, with this show. We're going to fix first. We're going to fix my set and the general show, and then we're going to fix everybody else's set as well as we go along. So everyone's got a lighting problem.
Me the most.
Steve's got the lighting problem. Rod's got the connection problem. Chris has just got a problem. Anyway, speaking of sim picks, I think Rod's still unbeatable. He's got the unbreakable streak of sim picks going. How did I do on Sunday's picks?
Let's see. Which games were those?
I had the Dolphins plus 7.5.
Dolphins won outright.
I had the Eagles.
The Eagles lost by 5.
49ers.
They won by 18.
And the NFC.
The NFC I was having network issues with. Let's see if I can grab the score.
Last I seen, NFC whooped them. It was like 33 or last I seen it was 33 to like 3 or something. I think NFC won that game handily.
All right,
the
penny is ready. Action. What do we got today?
All right, at 12 Eastern, Redskins at Bears. Bears minus 5.5. Over under 49.5.
Rod, who do you like?
Yikes!
I got the Bears.
Oh, Bears.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think everybody was gonna jump on the Bears. Give me the Redskins plus the 5.5.
I'll take the Bears too. 3 o'clock Eastern, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Titans -7, over under 51.
I'll take the Jags plus the 7.5. These teams just played and the Jags beat them.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot Jags money line here.
I like the Titans.
I'll go Jags as well.
I'll walk alone on the Titans.
7 Eastern, Texans at Chiefs. Chiefs -3, over under 60. I like Houston plus the 3 here.
I'll take the Chiefs -3.
I'll go Chiefs -3 as well.
Chiefs for me. Chris?
And last one at 10 Eastern, Seahawks at Broncos. Seattle -7, over under 54.5.
Is Flacco quarterbacking for Denver?
It might be Drew Lock, actually.
I think it's Drew Lock.
Seattle's so good at these games.
Yeah.
I got Denver. I got all home teams.
I'll take
the Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos money line plus 260.
I'll go Seahawks.
Yeah, I'll lay the 7 with the Seahawks.
The Seahawks will be playing, but I got Denver. All right, there's your sim picks for today. I think we've been pretty much on fire on the sim picks. Hope everyone has an awesome day, and see you guys later.
You got it. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.